Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is I am the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, and once again, I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos, as to be expected. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Metroid 3. Oh, I'm sorry, Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES for short, and as far as Japan owners are concerned, for the Super Famicom. So, last time, we've actually somehow managed able to beat the likes out of Ridley, but this time in the forms of 16-bit our world, and on top of that, we did somehow manage able to get ourselves quite a few collectibles there, in addition to about the fact that we did somehow obtain the best weapon or the best power-up in the game, which is of course the screw attack, so as a result, that way we shouldn't have that much issues with the game right now when it comes to its punishing damage output for certain enemy encounters and you name the rest. And on top of that, we did somehow manage to receive every single... I think we did somehow collected all of those super missiles now. So today, for this video, this will be the finale in terms of Super Metroid as far as this Let's Play is concerned. And because of that, we need to, first of all, before we hit into the final area in the game, after all, we've already taken down all 4 of those big bosses in the game. So first off, we just want to point things out, we need to get ourselves the remaining collectibles. Like, as we said before, that we've almost done with the forms of not only missile expansions, but also we've pretty much almost done with the forms of power bombs, and exponentially, I think we've only got about 2 more energy tanks left. So, and in fact, luckily though, certain collectibles aren't too far from here. So I think for the majority of them comes from not only Brimstar, but also Criteria as well. So hopefully we're able to actually get those last few collectibles throughout, until we basically guaranteed able to get ourselves the true 100% completion. So in some cases though, yeah, we need to hit back up there somehow. So, but luckily with the screw attack, with the space jump, then you should able to actually skip certain, well, portions throughout the whole entire, like, without needing to worry about the forms of trying to deal with the normal, fashion way. Well, mind you, it might be very difficult to learn with the forms of not only wall jumping techniques, but also with, space jump timing. But either way though, but again, when you get the hang of it though, it's actually not too bad. It's actually pretty satisfying if you managed able to pull this off. So anyway, a few things we want to explain while this is going on. Today's date is of course the 16th of December today, in this case in 2022 today, according to this particular uploading schedule time-wise. Yeah, we've only naturally got about ourselves 9 more days to go until Christmas is about to approach. So, in fact, let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day. What was your wish list for your Christmas this year? Because I would like to hear your thoughts, especially considering how the fact that we're actually getting very, 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 very close right now. And on top of that, we actually got ourselves some exciting news in regards to the forms of the Super Nintendo World Hollywood, which I think I'll point it out whenever we get into that particular conversation until for later. So as you can tell, we now ended up on the forms of Brimstar right now, and in some cases though, we need to able to find one of those energy tanks. In fact, it's actually not too difficult to obtain. Like, I think it's actually pretty simple to find, although for casual players though, might not knowing what to do at first, but then as soon as you're able to realize that those blocky structure did somehow manage able to block the actual pathway, so that if we did somehow manage able to utilize the, well, the actual speed booster, as you can definitely tell for about a few seconds ago, you're able to soon enough receive the next energy tank. So I think we've only got 1 unit of health left for the energy tanks when it comes to finding it. And I think luckily though, the final energy tank is somewhere in Criteria, so it's actually not too far from here. So, but we're not done with Brimstar just yet, because there are still certain collectibles we need to get. And if I recall correctly, there are roughly about 2 missile expansions, and I think that's about it basically for Brimstar in mind. And as far as the power bomb is concerned, I think there's actually technically the last power bomb extension, and that's what appears to be in Criteria. So as a result, I think there's actually a grand total of left right now when it comes to those specific upgrades in mind. Those are, well, we already obtained one of those energy tanks already, so naturally we've only got 1 more left. and that will be in criteria, as I said before. And we've only got about, I would classify for saying, quite a few missile expansions left, and only one power bomb left, and that will be essentially about it when it comes to, like, you know, exploring for the majority of the forms of the planet Zibis for, you know, certain collectibles and pickups, and you name the rest. So, anywho, so, yeah, before we get into more details about the forms of this exciting news in regards to the forms of the Super Nintendo World Hollywood, that is the fact that not only do we get ourselves a brand new promo for that, but also we finally got ourselves the release date for the sake of the forms of the Hollywood version of the Super Nintendo World in the Universal Studios. So, anywho, first off, we just want to point things out. Yeah, unfortunately, I somehow still go back onto Mario Kart Tour again, but at the very least, I somehow managed able to obtain another cosmetic character. But it's nothing new or anything. It's been out for such a long time, since during the forms of, I would say since in 2019 or something. That's what it appears to be. Yes, I finally managed to obtain the Santa Mario as a playable character in Mario Kart Tour. Because the reason being for this is because, well, I somehow managed able to keep on collecting more of those rubies thanks to the forms of certain challenges, and on top of that, it's actually a lot cheaper than the forms of how it does it from the likes of any other daily spotlights. So as a result, I've somehow managed able to pay for about 105 rubies for in-game currency for able to spend on Santa Mario, because, I mean, surely it looks, I'm not gonna lie, it does look pretty cool with the Santa outfit, which, yeah, if you're following through our Let's Play of Super Mario Odyssey, you know exactly how Santa Mario is. It's one of those pretty cool outfits you can able to wear. Like, usually I think that Santa Mario does exist, thanks to the forms of the free updates for Super Mario Odyssey. So, yeah, that's how I was gonna be thinking about it anyway. Well, originally, I was trying to able to get myself, you know, Larry alteration, as in the forms of Larry Wintertime outfit. But then I found out that the disappointing aspect about that particular character, cosmetic character, to me though, is the item choice, which as a result, that's the reason why I go for Santa Mario than the likes of Larry Wintertime. Because for Santa Mario, the only item you can get, or specifically the special item you can get, is of course the Fire Flower. Whilst Larry, on the other hand, he does manage to obtain the coin block, which I just don't get it, because otherwise though, although it's pretty handy if you really want to go for certain high scores, like trying to keep up with your coins count, but I will admit though right away, it is not very good when it comes to defense wise, so as a result though, that's why I tend to skip him. Although it's nice to see, you know, not just for reusing exactly the same pose as the forms of how it does it since 2009 or something, but relatively speaking, it's nice to see that Larry does manage to got himself his different costume for a change. So because of that, whilst unlike the forms of how it does it in any other Mario games by this point, like Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, they somehow still reuses the exactly the same artwork as in since New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So because of that though, I just have no idea why they just keep on reusing the exactly the same artwork as in, or artworks or renders for certain characters alike, but that's as far as saying goes, that's all there is to it when it comes to likely back in 2010's era for certain video games these days, but still, I can't deny about that. So, and as far as everything else I would like to mention when it comes to related to Mario Kart Tour itself, still getting owned by that pretty awkward battle mode, because let me tell you, the controls in the battle mode is super awkward, let me tell you, because again, it's just about the fact that I just wish I just want to play the game with the goddamn controller than the forms of how it does it on touchscreen mobile phone devices. I mean, I just can't used to that at this point, so. But as far as the Snowland, when it comes to Mario Kart Tour variation of Snowland, as far as I did manage to test this out, it's alright. I mean, surely the graphics aren't as gorgeous than the forms of how it does it in Mario Kart 8 version of it, in my opinion. But either way, we somehow managed able to find ourselves the final Power Bomb upgrade. So now we've actually done with that. And then now we come to the remaining ones, which are, I would say, the missile expansions and only one energy tank left. And that will be about it for, essentially all of the actual item pickups for, you know, for Super Metroid as to be expected. So, but I will admit though right away, I do apologize if my commentary gets a little bit awkward at this point today. It's most likely because, once again, my laptop decides to lag again. Which, I honestly have no idea why it just keeps on lagging all of a sudden. I think it's mainly due to the fact that every time, you know, every time when I edit something, with in some cases though, trying to able to jump cut certain things, it just always keeps lagging and lagging and lagging and lagging, and it never seemed to end for more likely for doing so, and that just gets very old very fast, at least from my experience anyway, so. But anyway, we got ourselves the final energy tank right here, so looking all pretty swell as far as that's been concerned with, so we're now actually at full units of health right now. So, yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything. So, in some cases, though, yeah, there's not much else I can say about this, honestly. But, as soon as I'm able to actually get back into the forms of The Legend of Zelda until tomorrow, I definitely need to able to fix up the forms of that particular lag-free, kind of situations for my recording sessions on preview window, because, again, it's so hard to time these things. Every time whenever you come across into any lag and anything else like that, and it's just nuts, I'm telling ya. So anyways, this is where we get ourselves the final two missile expansions. Now, here's the thing though, we were expecting to able to get both of them at the same time, but it turns out we have to backtrack and then we have to go after this particular missile expansion. And exponentially, we are basically almost done with those specific pickups. So there's only one pickup left. That is, of course, the final missile expansion, and that will be about it. And hopefully, we're able to be all ready for able to take on the final thing throughout the whole game. So everything else will be come together at this point. So even then, though, we can pretty much guarantee that, although it's kind of a shame that, like I said before, that unfortunately we can't get the best ending because we essentially spent about over 3 hours now. But luckily, though, I can at least try to able to show you guys what the best ending looks like. So in some cases, though, yeah, it's kind of a bummer, honestly. But at least I have managed to try. But as a result, I did somehow manage to able to enjoy this game. Like, certainly it's fantastic in every way. So as a result though, despite there are some very tricky moves to learn, like the wall jumping technique can be felt a bit difficult to execute, at least to me anyway though. But either way though, it's just for my honest personal taste when it comes to likely trying to pull off some very difficult moves. So, but either way, let's just go and continue things on for this point, and it feels like we've almost at the missile expansion for the sake of the final time for this game. Although, for the entire series itself though, well, at least until whenever we get to Metroid Fusion next, then it's pretty obvious about the fact that we're able to expect to come across into those exactly the same collectibles, or is it though? Well, we'll find out until at some point until next year in 2023. So, yeah, we haven't got that long until 2023 as a matter of fact. So, and exponentially also, we actually now on the halfway point for December already. So, according to the forms of that particular, you know, time length for this particular uploading schedules alike. So, there we go. As you can tell, we've got every single pickups in the game. So, in some cases though, we've got about, let's just say, 230 missile expansions, and on top of that, we've obtained about 50 super missiles, and same applies to power bombs as well, and also we've got all of our units of health. Despite I somehow wasted all of those, not only regular missiles, but also super missiles as well, but that's only mainly because we somehow managed to deal with the hardest boss fight in the game, which is of course Ridley. But either way though, yeah, that's as far as I can try and able to discuss upon this kind of stuff. So, anywho though, yeah, let's talk about the forms of that, the Super Nintendo world, as I promised you guys for mentioning about that stuff, while I was getting distracted by, you know, a lot of grinding for all that, you know, weapons and stuff like that, specifically regular missiles and super missiles and power bombs essentially. But either way though, yeah, they did somehow manage to able to confirm the actual release date for the likes of the Super Nintendo World in Hollywood, and that will basically be open until the 17th of February in 2023. And gee, I wonder what that date is. Someone feels a bit familiar. Well, it turns out it's going to be opening about a day after the Maxi Toys 12th anniversary coming up. So yeah, perfect timing to able to actually celebrate both things during the forms of in February. Same applies to the forms of, you know, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe releasing on the Switch. So even then though, you'd probably expect it at this point. Now I do found out for one thing in mind, that basically though is the fact that one of those names, when it comes to that particular cafe bit, well, do you remember about the fact that they did somehow manage to able to give it a name as in a Japanese name, something related to like Toad Cafe or something? But then we do found out that the English translation version just somehow calls it Toadstool Cafe. So at least that's a little bit differently as far as, you know, the name is concerned, but aesthetically speaking though, when it comes to the forms of the cafe itself, it looks very similar to the forms of how it does on the Japanese version, although the noticeable differences this time is of course English localization, so... But anyway though, so since we've now moved on to the forms of that particular the statue thing, which it did somehow manage able to get crumbled into underwater, which means that since we've beaten all 4 of those big bosses between, you know, Kraid, Ridley, Fantoon, and even Dragoon, and basically we now ended up in the final area in the game, which I'm sure most of you might be familiar with this. And that's what appears to be something more related to, a little bit familiar, doesn't it? And that's what appears to be Torian. Yes, a brand new Torian. So yeah, as you can tell, that this place looks very familiar because, again, if you ever played the original Metroid before, then basically though, technically we've already experienced Torian in this game earlier on, but it turns out it's all deserted, especially after the events of when the original Metroid has been first ended off with, but either way though, that might be saying something, so... Anyways, let's save our game, and we can able to explore the rest of Torian for, well, for the second time, as far as I'm concerned with that stuff. But, at the very least, that we're able to actually just to realize that we are now fully upgraded and all that stuff, so nothing can go wrong, aside from those stupid— oh my god, the Metroids are back! And yes, these are the regular Metroids now, as opposed to the forms of what we discovered earlier in, Meridia. That's what appears to be Mark Droids, but in here though, we can just simply now take on the regular Metroids now. So, and just like the forms of how it does it in both Metroid 1 and Metroid 2, Return of Samus, that basically, we need to use the Ice Beam in order to freeze them, and just like before, you can either just, this time, you can able to actually use not only for missiles, but also super missiles as well. I believe you still need able to utilize about 5 regular missiles in order to kill them while they are frozen in Ice Beam. But then if you somehow use the super missile, as far as you already saw from earlier ago, then basically it deals like 1 hit. So yeah, that's actually pretty dope and everything, like as you saw right now. So, but of course, we still need able to kill them until we're able to progress. So in some cases though, yeah, we still need to avoid those annoying donut ring kind of like projectiles coming from out of nowhere, just like last time, ever since the original Metroid. But this time we have much more better controls, so as a result though, nothing can go wrong for this point, as far as, you know, punishing as far as this is concerned, which it might be hard to explain, but either way though, yeah, that's as far as I can try to explain about the forms of how Torian works. Well, to be more specifically, the newer version of Torian, so it looks completely modern this time. Well, technically not modern anymore these days now. I mean, relatively speaking though, this does certainly looks a bit nicer at least, but that's as far as saying goes, that's about it, so... And just like before, that, how the hell did that ring projectile just somehow not be back? Like, I just have no idea why they just did that. Okay then, so, anywho, so let's just go ahead and deal with this Metroid here. But if you somehow manage to able to get the Metroid absorb you, then obviously they'll suck your health. So, which I don't think you can able to actually be worried about this too much this time, because I think in order able to do another alternative thing you can able to kill them is by simply utilize the power bomb if you somehow manage to accidentally get absorbed, as you can tell. So in some cases though, we'll also have to use one of my power bombs in order able to deal with him for about I would say 3 hits specifically. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm guessing that might actually work me out though. So, yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy. And of course we stumbled across these very strong variations of those, well, I don't know how to exactly call these things, but either way, they're also gonna have to, like, move along, I guess, because I don't think we can able to actually deal with these guys for right now, although they are pretty much invincible as far as I can't really tell of how do I supposed to deal with them. I mean, you know what, never mind. Let's just keep on moving, just to ensure that we need to able to keep our health alive, and especially notable we need to save up. Is that supposed to be like a Chozo thing, but then it's somehow disintegrated? I never thought about that. And same applies to those regular enemies as well, so I guess everything else is sort of dissolved, so... Look, it's that enemy as we saw familiar. And we can't kill it. Oh god! Oh my god, this Metroid is huge! And what's it doing? It's sucking up the entire life sources? Ah! No! Get away! Get away! No! I refuse to die! Again! I refuse! Just let me go! Ah! Ah! Go on! Break free! Break free! And... What? We stopped at 1 energy left? Oh, I get it. As far as I've noticed, that's actually exactly the same baby Metroid as, well, as far as attempted. So, yeah, apparently though, is the fact that, well, it's hard to explain because I have no idea why we stopped at 1 energy left. But anyway, at least luckily, if you go onto the left, basically, not only do we get ourselves our missile recharge station, but also the energy recharge station as well. So that means we are fully regenerated our health once again. So that should be all good. Especially noticeable about the fact that I'm pretty sure we've already taken down most of those Metroids now. So either way though, yeah, that's as far as saying goes. That's about it. So anywho though, so let's just go ahead and keep on moving. And in fact, we've almost nearly at the end of this particular Torian, so it's gonna have to able to make our way through several rooms, which I don't suppose that there aren't any enemies involved around here, aside from this very last eye door to need to be taken care of, because that is where the boss fight is gonna lead us to. So, or should I say, the final boss of the game. So, which I'm sure that if you're most likely familiar with the final boss is going to be, for those of you who ever played the original Metroid before, so everything else will be pretty much expected by that point. So anyways, let's go ahead and save our game quickly, and sure enough, we have saved the game. So I suppose the last thing I want to mention while this is going on is the fact that apparently though, we're actually going to be getting ourselves several of those characters from the likes of Sonic Forces Speed Battle, which I think I'll let, well, Tiana will get back into the forms of WarioWare Touched at some point next Monday, because as a result though, that's, we just want to be able to actually get this game finished before we move on to the next game, like I said. So, anyway, so you recognize this familiar location from before, that we still need to able to utilize the Reckoner missiles in order to able to take down these little barrier doors. So just in case we can able to actually just don't waste them. So in some cases though, yeah, we still need to avoid those annoying rings and those projectiles, as you can tell. Oh, hello, what do we have here? We have ourselves Mother Brain again, except this time she's actually, well, a lot more details than the forms of how it does it from the likes of the 8-bit counterparts. So, you know the drill. Basically just throws up the one of those rings, and also use the Reckoner missiles to break the glass, and on top of that, just deal the amount of damage to her. And the only time it's a bit tricky though, is of course those annoying ring projectiles, and also if you touch the acid, then obviously it drains a lot of health. So, yeah, that's to be expected by this point. So, and there she goes. Wait a minute. I almost first thought this is gonna be over. Something tells me there's gonna be more to it than that, huh? Oh my god. This thing is huge. Anyway, so this is technically not over yet, because here we have the true final boss in the whole entire game, which appears to be Mother Brain with its different form. So basically, all you have to do is just basically aim at her head, or specifically her head, and then basically you have to shoot these missiles at her, or super missiles. However, power bombs will not do a thing against her, so yeah, that's to be expected when it comes to likely utilizing power bombs for certain puzzle segments from time to time. So anyway though, she's actually rather easy if you manage able to like keep on utilizing missiles when it comes to likely pulling off some diagonal you know, aiming. So either way though, there goes all of my missiles and stuff like that. But at the very least, you can technically still able to kill her by simply utilizing the actual the plasma beam itself, so just to ensure you're able to get the most accurate aiming ever. So relatively speaking though, it's actually really easy. Well, at least assuming if you keep on getting hit a lot of times. And I highly recommend that, you know how the fact that we obviously got every single like energy tanks, then obviously you should probably be able to well, just to survive throughout the whole battle like super easily. So yeah, nothing else to it, aside from the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, I pretty much keep on losing some bit of health due to the forms of this unexpected attacks. And what's she doing? Oh my god! Holy crap! That deals the amount of damage! And on top of that, I lost all of my power bombs, and Samus, get up! Get up! You're losing your health! Come on! Don't give up! I can't move! Oh, wait a second, because her beam is actually a lot more powerful than our plasma beam. Oh no, she's gonna finish me off, is she? She's gonna finish me off! Oh! Okay, I mean, get him! Or get her! So yeah, it looks like that particular baby Metroid just somehow managed to able to help me. Huh. Interesting. So basically, he just managed able to suck up certain life forces for that Mother Brain. But yeah, that's incredible for able to see that baby Metroid just somehow, well, it's the exactly same Metroid as far as, well, I don't know what do I explain this. So I wonder what this Metroid is gonna do for me, huh? Ah, thank you. You managed able to regenerate my health back. Well, the only time exception though appears to be by the forms of the power bombs, but honestly, power bombs doesn't mean anything at this point in time, just because we pretty much at the end game basically, so. But of course, while that particular Metroid is gonna able to regenerate my health, Mother Brain decides to able to just, oh my god, he's trying to able to sacrifice the Metroid itself and to protect me. And there goes the baby Metroid. How dare you kill my baby? Well, kinda. So anyways, once the baby Metroid has been dead, we're able to actually get back up again and managed able to actually access the most powerful weapon in the game, the Hyper Beam, which allows you to able to only attack Mother Brain, and that's pretty much about it. You can't use it anywhere else because you're only going to use this weapon for the sake of the forms of, well, the final boss in the game. So all you have to do is just keep on aiming onto its head, and basically that's all you have to do. So yeah, pretty powerful, I'm telling you. Pretty powerful. So take that, Mother Brain. You deserve to die. And sure enough though, yeah, she's rest in peace. But if you think this is all over, well, if you're familiar with the original Metroid and the beginning of the game, we once again have ourselves the self-destruct sequence. And this time, we only have about roughly 3 minutes to escape. So, yeah, we need to escape the entire planet Zippus, in addition to, you know, the brand new version of Torian. So, yeah, let's get the heck out of here. So, and every once in a while there's gonna be some space pirates here and there. So let's just speed boost here and just try to able to make a biggest jump like that. And everything else will be a total cakewalk if you're able to actually just, well, speed things up a little bit. So, either way though, as far as saying goes, I think that's pretty much about it. Now, I'm pretty sure those themes act out pretty much exactly the same thing as the forms of how it does it since the beginning of the game in Sirius Station. So, except the fact that we actually now have enemies to worry about. So, now before we're able to actually get into the forms of the actual Samus's ship, there's actually one last thing before we're able to actually finish up the game for reals. Now, remember those specific creatures that we've actually stumbled across into from the likes of, you know, how to train the actual specific skills with, you know, with the Speed Spark or Super Spark ability, and as well as the forms of practicing wall jumps and stuff like that, that basically we do need to somehow free them until we're able to actually get into the forms of the actual Samus's ship itself. So, but usually, relatively speaking, the actual journey away to, well, we're going back into exactly the same familiar spot. So, in some cases though, I would have liked able to actually utilize the Speed Spark or the Super Spark ability for the Speed Booster, but sometimes though I can never really tell if I was gonna able to do fastest method if possible or something. But either way though, at least I did somehow try, like I said. So every single section is now closed off due to the forms of, well, as to be expected, that you know, the self-destruct sequence. So, however though, if you manage to let the time run out, then you get an instant game over, and on top of that, you have to refight against with Mother Brain again, so just to ensure about the fact that you're probably not going to make a simple mistake. So anyways, let's go in here quickly and open up this door. And yeah, you see these critters right here? Just open this little area for them, and I think they're pretty much going to be safe just fine. So, and it looks like we only got about 45 seconds left before it decides to self-destruct. But I think, relatively speaking, it's actually not too far from here, I don't think. So, but sometimes though, it might take a bit of some time to able to memorize every layout and all that. So, alright, so now we come to criteria. So in some cases though, let's just ignore those themes from now on and hit into the Samus's ship. And we finished Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo. Wow, what a wild adventure we actually experienced so far. Especially considering how the fact that, well, I'll give you my final thoughts of this game as soon as we're able to actually get to the credit sequence. So, first off, it looks like the planet Zippus is about to explode. There goes the whole planet. But yeah, that was it basically. And then afterwards though, it tells you the forms of, you know, the actual successful clear time, and that is, I've spent about 3 hours and 46 minutes. So, I pretty much wasted my time because I could assure you, I pretty much lost my ability to able to show you guys, you know, the best ending if you manage to beat the game in under 3 hours. So, yeah, let's get to my final thoughts of this game. I actually really enjoyed this game, especially that I really love the atmosphere, and on top of that, the gameplay looks remarkably well done, especially it's certainly aged rather well compared to the forms of how it does it on the NES counterparts, which is essentially, you know, the original Metroid and Metroid 2, Return of Samus on the Game Boy. But I will say, the graphics look really incredible, especially this is on the Super Nintendo, and the story itself is very satisfying to able to know something like this happens. And the soundtrack, oh man, is so atmospheric when it comes to the soundtrack itself. And on top of all that stuff though, the controls might take a bit me some time to get used to, but regardless of such though, I think it's almost perfect in every way when it comes to the controls and stuff like that. So yeah, you should definitely recommend it to get this game. Well, it might be unfortunate though, because obviously for the Wii U owners and the new 3DS owners, that's eventually until in 2023, that you can no longer get this game on the forms of well, you know what I mean, the Wii U and the new 3DS systems. But luckily, if you guys managed able to actually access to the NSO, in some cases Nintendo Switch Online, basically you can still technically able to play Super Metroid, but on the forms of the online subscription for it. So as a result though, yeah, you should definitely recommend this title, especially considering about the fact that a lot of people seem to think that this is one of the best Metroid games of all time, which I honestly agree. Especially considering how the fact that, well, we're eventually getting ourselves some, well, let's just say the next sequel will have to be by the forms of in the Game Boy Advance, because, again, I was quite surprised to know about the fact that there aren't any, 2D Metroid games to be found for the likes of the Nintendo 64, although the only time that Samus do appeared on the Nintendo 64, which appears to be, of course, Super Smash Bros., in this case, one of the greatest fighting games of all time for the Nintendo 64. So anyway, so since I've actually spent about over 3 hours and some stuff like that, this means I got myself the normal ending where it shows Samus's helmet has been taken off and she gives us a thumbs up. So, but as I said, if you beat the game for under 3 hours, you're able to actually see, you know, Zero Suit Samus as far as, well, she actually got her suit off. So that's something you will able to see if you manage to get the best ending. So yeah, everything else will be pretty much accounted for. And also, that after this screen is finished, basically it shows us your rate for collectible items is 100%, which we certainly accomplished it. And it did say, see you next mission. So in some cases, the next mission we're going to be hit on to, we're getting on to the Game Boy Advance. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching of our Let's Play of Super Metroid. I hope you guys do enjoy it, and I surely do so, despite the amount of backtracking issues. But regardless of such though, I had a great time. So this is me, Sonic the Hedgehog, from the likes of the Mexi Toys. Up next, in terms of the forms of the Metroid series of Let's Plays, we're going to be hitting on to the Game Boy Advance for Metroid Fusion. So yeah, that'll be exciting. So I'll see you guys then. Bye.